Now in today's video, we're taking a look at the Roborock S8 Pro Ultra. We saw this at CES. And we were absolutely in love with the upgrades, the changes that they've made to the product. And let's face it, we've had our Roborock S7 Max V in our home, cleaning our floors for almost a year now. So when we heard about the S8 Pro, we were dying to get our hands on it to see everything that's changed and the things that they've improved. So in today's video, we're going to be going over those changes. And I'll tell you, if you'd like to have a robot that mops your floor, cleans your floor, leaves it spotless, then skip to the very end and just get it. It is a fantastic robot that not only will it keep your floors clean, but it's pet friendly too. So we do our poop test to make sure that it doesn't take the poop with it, and you'll see that in this video. And I have to tell you, the spoiler is that it passes the poop test as well. So let's start talking about the specs, and then we go into the actual use of the product, and we'll see also the app, because the app has some very convenient one-touch features that we use, and I really mean this, every single day. So first, this robot has had an updated look to it. It is, I would say, less industrial in its look and more, I would say, aesthetically pleasing for those of you who don't want to see like all the tanks exposed. So it's also available in black and white. Now, one of the things that has been improved in this robot is that it has now a dual roller riser, which means it has now two rollers underneath that are going to do twice the cleaning. Now, the mop itself, the pad that actually vibrates, and it does like really supersonic vibrating, or ultrasonic, I think is the word that they use, basically is better. It's version 2.0, and it has a wider cleaning area, right? And we'll see that as well. It has a self-emptying station, as it always did. It basically self-water refills as well, and it has 7 weeks of debris that it can just basically pick up. Now, from a cleaning area, it could cover 3,230 square feet. So that's the mopping area. And the suction power has also been improved. It's 6,000 PA. Now, this has a clean water tank, and as it's going through and cleans your house, what sets this apart is that when it comes back to the docking station, it cleans off the pad. Not only will it clean the pad, but it washes it, and then basically any dirty water goes into a dirty water bin. So you basically have three, I would say, bins. One for your dust or your debris, that picks up dog hair, dirt, anything that may have fallen on the floor. Another one that has a clean water tank, right, that basically fills the robot as it's cleaning the floor. And then the third one is the dirty water tank. And I'm telling you, it gets dirty. It basically, as it's cleaning the pad, right, it basically sucks all that stuff up, has this little nice filter, and then it basically stores it in this tank so that it's easy for you to dispose the water. Now, in addition to that, it has self-drying, so it actually heat dries the actual pad, and this is really important for me, and this is something that we didn't have in the old version, but it still didn't present itself any kind of problem. I'll just have to say this. But the self-drying pad, what I love about it is that it's going to make sure that you have a fresh pad every single time it hits the floor. Now, it also has an improved Lidar and navigation system. That Lidar navigation system makes it faster for it to map your home, 6 times faster, which also means that it's able to navigate much quicker as it's also cleaning the floor. Now, one of the things I like about this robot is that this is not a bump and clean robot, right? So this robot, because of the Lidar, because of the technology and the mapping it has, basically it's going to hug your wall as it's going through. If I put my hand like this, it's basically just going like this around it. It's not doing this kind of thing with the sensors or it bumps into it and then it knows how to adjust. It basically can see what's going on. So it makes it, again, much more convenient, especially for electronics like I may have on the floor. Now, it is also smart enough to identify cables, shoes, pet poop, like we said, yeah, your pets, and the poop, and also people, so it detects that as well. It has carpet detection so that if you do have a mixed floor home, it's actually going to raise the actual mop so it's not going to wet your carpet as it goes through. It has multi-floor mapping and also has a one-click cleaning solution option. So this is what I use all the time. We have a high traffic area, which is our walkway. And that walkway, as soon as someone comes in, is ceramic. Always, that's the primary space because it basically leads to all different parts of the house. That's the area that I hit one button or I have it programmed automatically to clean every single day. Goes, cleans the tile, comes out. Tile's always clean. one click. And you can set up various one-click zones. Now, as you can tell, pretty excited about this product because it works so well. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at the product close up, and then we'll also take a look at the app itself so you can see all the features that you can actually configure and why you're going to want this vacuum. I'm telling you, it's something that we have. Now we have two of them. We have the predecessor and this one, and they're running and cleaning our home. I guess if Iron Man had robots like this, they'd have these. Now, before we take a closer look at the Roborock S8 Pro Ultra, I just want to highlight the one that we have right next to it. This is the Roborock S7 Max V. Now, we reviewed this product back in April, and since April, it's been running every single day. And as you can see by the floors, spotless, shiny floors, does a fantastic job cleaning. So I was really excited when we had the opportunity at CES to see the Roborock brand new version, the S8 Pro Ultra. And as you can see that there's some slight differences. Now the first thing that we'll highlight are going to be the aesthetics. So you can see that there's some slight design cues where the actual containers themselves are now covered up really nicely, which gives you, I guess, a better aesthetic for those of you who didn't really like this view on this side. It was somewhat industrial. I thought it was pretty cool, but I think that this one, having it nicely covered up, is also really nice. And I can see how a lot of people are going to like this version. It does come in white and in the same color that we see here, black, gray, however you want to call it. So you could go with either version. And then there's some other differences that you'll see from physical changes that you'll see also in the robots themselves. But as far as the water container, square footage coverage, the dust container, how much it retains, and the dirty tank container, they're pretty much the same size. A lot of the mechanics have changed here, and also some of the appearance, but the capacity is pretty much the same. Now, one thing that you'll also find, as we discussed in the specs, is that this guy's going to run a lot faster. It's going to cover your home much faster when it comes from a mapping perspective, and also has improved cleaning, sweeping, mopping, however you'd like to refer to it, versus the S7 that we have here. But this is still a great vacuum. Now, as we take a closer look at the robot, let's go ahead and bring it right here so you can see it. You'll notice that there are some similarities and there's also some differences here. First of all, you have 3 controls at the very top. If we open up this area here, you'll notice that you have your dustbin. You also have some reset switches and things that you'll be able to activate. In the front, we'll go ahead and bring it. You'll notice it has the same camera system, although it doesn't really show the actual images anymore. So this one does show the images of the products. This one doesn't. So what that means is that if it encounters a cable, it's not going to show you the cable itself. If it encounters a shoe, it doesn't show you the shoe. It right now only shows you that a shoe was detected. Now, that may be a permanent change or it may be a temporary change since this is an early firmware version. But you'll notice that it does have the 3D mapping. It does have also some changes in the bottom that we'll look at. So first of all, here you see the actual pad itself, and you see the actual rollers that it has. For the most part, it looks pretty similar, except check this out. Now, as you put these side by side, you are going to notice some differences. First of all, as we look at the actual mop itself, the mop is wider and it has more coverage. So you can see it based on that one. Keep in mind that that is the same mop pad that I've had running for a year. And look how great that still looks. So over here, I probably should change it, but over here you can see what this mop looks like. Now, this is when you see the big change in the rollers. So you have a single roller here, you have a double roller here. This is going to do a better job of picking up debris, cleaning dog hair, and you know we have 4 Pomeranians running around in the house, so this is going to do a much better job. The sweeper looks pretty much the same, except that you'll notice here that you have 3, as opposed to over here, you had 5 whiskers coming out. But I still have noticed that it's doing a fantastic job cleaning. In my opinion, a little bit better than this guy. Now, one thing to remember about these robots is that they are self-filling and self-cleaning. So basically, they fill themselves up. The mop pads in this guy right here, it basically dries. So there's an actual mechanism that's going to make sure that this dries. This one, while they both scrub, the one over here, I don't have the drying mechanism with this one. So this one's going to air dry, but when it cleans off, it does such a nice job that there's no smell to the pads. Because one of the things that you have to remember is that if you have a smelly pad cleaning your floor is going to be smelly as well. So this one does not have a heat dry mechanism. This one does have a drying mechanism.
Now here's a closer look of the actual mopping and refilling station. So you notice that you have that red bar there. That's the arm that goes left to right and is going to scrub clean your mop. Now I'm going to pan over here, and I have not cleaned this because I just want to show you that I do use this every single day. You can see here the actual cleaning head, and it is a little dirty, so I have to do some maintenance on this guy, but it's working really well. Now you have 3 compartments here. This is going to be for your dustbin. Here you have your clean water, and here you have your dirty water. If I remove this like this, you notice that it does have some dirty water in it. Let's go ahead and pop it open. So it has some dirty water in that. You can see how it does a really nice job of picking that up. Pull this one out. We've been using this, so I have to refill it with water, but you can see that that's the clean water side, and it smells clean. And then on this side, what you'll have is this your dust bag, so that once it comes back to the station, it kind of cleans up any of the debris that could be left inside of the robot. Now, as soon as you start the robot and you send it off to either automatically or manually clean a specific area, it is going to first pull itself outside of the docking station, come back in, and it's going to do 2 things. Clean the mop and fill up the mop tank. Once it's done that, it's going to go ahead and complete the routine that you have. Now, one of the things I like about this robot is that the actual routines that you can set up, the zones you can set up, can be either automated or manual. So I can have it actually clean the family room, which is where I am right now, or my walkway. And I actually have a routine where it cleans the walkway more often, because that's kind of like with the high traffic area, and the family room isn't really a high traffic area. Now, one other thing that you'll notice about the floors themselves, well, we have some debris there for this test. You'll notice how, for the most part, spotless these floors are. So the Roborock series is what works on this floor. No scratches, the floors don't look dull. Folks come over, and when they see our floors, they go like, what do you do to keep these things so clean? And I just point to these robots. Now, one of the things that you'll notice with the robot is that it's really not banging into any objects as it's going through and cleaning. So it is hugging really tightly my sofa, but it's not touching it. You can notice how it's working around obstacles, but not banging into it. And that has to do with the advanced Lidar and the AI. Now we have some obstacles here coming up. So we have a floor speaker, and you'll notice again, it didn't touch it. It's going to see some cables there. We'll see if it will go over it or will stop. And it looks like it recognized it, and it's pulling back. It's going to try to avoid it. It's going to determine how close it can get to it and then work its way around it. Now what you'll notice there is there's some glitter on the floor, which is really hard to pick up, and some debris. We'll see how well it does with that in a couple seconds. All right, now one of the cool things is that as the robot is doing its thing in cleaning, the actual app, as you can see here, is also keeping track of where the robot's going. So you can see the cleaning path as it's going through our living room, because it went ahead and it did kind of like a map of the house. Now there are a couple different ways that I can actually view things. I could actually have a 3D map if that's something I'd like to see. And then right here you actually see the 3D version of our home. So it's doing a really nice job. As you can see, it's moving forward and back, and you can see how it's covering things. Now as it's doing this, and we're going to move a little bit closer to it while still having the app going, you can notice that there's a light moisture line leaving behind as the robot is going through and cleaning the floors. Now the cool thing about that is that we don't see spots, right? So it's not going to leave enough moisture on the floor as it's mopping to leave spots behind. And as it's doing that, it's vibrating, right? It's really vibrating super fast and cleaning up anything that could be stuck. And keep in mind, we have 4 dogs in the house. And this is how our floors look. 4 dogs that have free reign of the home, and our floors look fantastic. And you can see by the app there how it's keeping track of where it's going. We're going to go ahead and switch back to 2D view. It's kind of like a view that I prefer. And we'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit. And you can see how it's keeping track of where the robot's going, and then how wide the mop is, and in relation to the moisture that's leaving behind. So it knows that there's some barriers here that it's already identified. You'll notice that it's identified the TV cabinet there. It's identified a surge protector or power strip. It's identified some cables, the wires that it avoided earlier. There's some gym shoes also here, so there's some footwear, and it thinks that it's like 89% accurate. Over here, it saw that there's some form of obstacle that wasn't identifiable, but again, it's doing really nice job of just making its way through our home, keeping the floors super clean. And remember, it does have that ability where you can set up those routines to target specific areas of your home. Super cool. All right, so we have the Roborock now confronting a maze of shoes, poop, and also cups. We're going to see how well it does as it returns back to this area. So it looks like it's trying to negotiate its space. And keep in mind that this is an early firmware, so this is not even production ready yet. So we're really pushing it hard. And one of the things that I've noticed about just the line is that you see a lot of firmware upgrades. The version 7 did really well with our poop test. Didn't even touch the poop, was able to avoid it. And so far, this one seems to be doing really well. I will say that it pushed the cups that we see over there, but it's avoiding the poop, it's avoiding the shoes. And that's what you want, right? Especially when you have 4 Pomeranians like we do, that while they have their space to go, sometimes they make mistakes. So we want to make sure that we don't have any poop in our robot. If that's ever happened to you, you know what I'm talking about. Ooh, yuck.
Now this app has tons of features that make it super convenient to use and also super powerful. So first of all, you'll notice here I have my 2 robots. I have my S7 Max V, and then over here I have the brand new one, the S8 Pro Ultra. Now there are a couple features, right? And I have different routines for the different robots. So the cool thing about it is if you had multiple robots positioned in different places of your home, you can have them each with the one-click function. I have them in the same location because I've been testing out the differences that I've been seeing with both. So first of all, here you have your routines. And your routines, you notice this is my family room, and then this is the main entrance. This is the main entrance is the one that I use the most. I either push it or I have it, programmed so that it goes. So that it just goes ahead and cleans that area. And we're going to go into the routine so that you can see what's in that area. Now what it's going to do here is you can notice that I have 2 routines that I have configured, and I'm going to choose these 3 dots so that I can go in and take a look at it. And here basically I have the zone and basically the power of the suction and the power of the mopping and how many times do I have it going over the area. Now I have it going over the area 2 times because it is a high traffic area. So it basically takes care of that for me. If I go into it, you can see here's the map of the area that I have covered, and this is basically the entryway and then also the first floor bathroom, which is also a high traffic area. So I typically leave the bathroom door open, it goes into that area, takes care of that, cleans the mop, does all that great stuff. Cleaning mode is balanced, but it's also the vibration. I have it as intense because people do walk in, and it's one of the areas that typically people walk in and may take off their shoes at that point, so there's going to be a lot of debris there. And then I have the cycle times, right? The same one. Let's go back. We're going to go into family room. Here we go. This is the one we wanted. Here you can see my family room all the way in the bottom, and this is the area that I have taking place, which is totally separate from the other area. This is where we'll watch TV, but also our dog's are always around there. And this is the area that has, it's all hardwood floor. And when you see the video, you'll notice that my hardwood floor is spotless, no water stains, no damage. It's real wood. And I also have 4 Pomeranians walking around the house, right? So you'll notice here, I have balance moderate. Here, I have it only once. And this is because typically this area is not trafficked with shoes. My shoes are off, and this is the area that we walk around the house. The dogs are the one that would bring any kind of debris there. It does get dirty, but it's, small dog feet. So that's the one thing that we have there. Now, after this, let me just show you some of the other options that you have here. Now, let's take a look at what happens if you enter the actual robot. So here, it's going to give you some information. It's going to load the map of our current home. And as I mentioned, we basically run it all the time in this area here. And then the secondary area is where we watch TV. So 161 square feet is the area it's cleaning. Battery is currently 95%, and the cleaning time was 28 minutes. That's how long it takes to clean that area. If I were to zoom in a little bit, you can see the kind of cleaning that it's doing, the pattern that it's going through. So it's basically doing all this stuff. You notice it's not just up and down, but because I have it in that double, it's doing a real nice job of crisscrossing that entire area. Now, as it's going through things, it's going to identify things, right? And you'll notice that it found cables right there. It found some shoes right here. And this version doesn't really show a picture of the actual shoes. My other robot does, right? But here you can see it found some gym shoes, which is pretty common because when people come in the door, this is my towel area, they basically take off their shoes around here. So they just kick it over to the side. So that's what you're seeing here. There's some furniture here when you see those areas, and you can see it going through this entire area. And it's showing you the path it took when it came out, right? So it came out, and then it went out the door, and it went that area there. And then it noticed that there's something there. There's an obstacle. Actually, what I have right here in this corner is my workout bike. So there's some stuff there because I just move it over. So this gives me a view there. Now, in addition to this, you do have a 3D view that you can have, and then you can also put furniture if you like. So this is the 3D view that you basically can take a look at. And you'll notice, again, the robot coming out right here, and then you can see all of the, kind of like the path that the robot's going and how it's cleaning things. And that's also pretty interesting. So you can see, you know, everything that's going on there. So I don't really use the 3D path version that much, but you can get a sense of how it's cleaning, right? What it's covering. You can see how complete it is. Literally, those arches and those areas that you see there, there's actually stuff on the floor there. So that's just part of, you know, having, you know, a normal house. So you could basically go from a standard view to a 3D view. You can add furniture. You can add names. You can also block areas, don't go zones, those kind of things. All those things you can do. Now, to add a zone, it's pretty simple. All you do is you go into your zone, and then here basically you highlight the area that you either want to block or that you want to include in a specific cleaning zone. Now, you can connect these robots to your Alexa or Google Assistant so that you can use your voice. You also have a lot of different settings that you can go through. So we're going to go in here so you can see several things. You can manage your map. You can set schedules, right? So if you want to have a schedule for this specific robot, I don't have a schedule. You can look at, again, obstacle avoidance, right? So here you have all the options here. Pet details, yes. So if you select this, your robot will move in a way that that improves obstacle recognition, but may slightly reduce cleaning efficiency because since I have dogs, and I'm okay with that. You also saw that there was a less collision mode. You also then have carpet settings, right? I don't have any carpets. I have tile, and then I have hardwood floor. But here are, again, some of the options that you have. Either carpet boost, which means it's going to suck more as soon as it gets to the carpet, or you have the dynamic lift so that it just picks it up. You also have some floor cleaning settings, and here's where you can actually set the corner detection. So you have some really nice options there. You also then have your dock settings, and once this pops up, there's several options that you have here. Your mopping frequency, your washing mode, auto emptying of the tank, auto drying, so you can tell it to not always auto empty if that's something that you want to do, especially with our dogs. They hear the auto emptying and they always bark, but you can do something like that. And then you have your auto drying and how the drying duration is going to take. Now you do have a remote control option, which is really convenient, especially if you have a spill that you want the robot to go to and you don't want it navigating all over the place. It just, you know, so you have your spot clean and then you also have your dock. So you can go there and you can actually clean that area, especially if you have something that was spilled or you had a party and some friends over. Now the last thing I'll show you here is going to be the maintenance, and this is important because this is going to keep your robot going nice and fresh. So here you have your filters, your main brush, your side brush, and your sensors. You know, when you have to clean them, water tank, all this stuff. And it's something that I would basically monitor. It's going to keep your robot functioning. And I've had mine now, my first version, for a year. Absolutely love it. So the second version obviously is going to help take some of the load off of the first one. But just make sure that you're taking a look at your maintenance. You do get prompts, right? And just take care of all those little pieces so that your robot will just last forever. So guys, that wraps up our review. See you in the next video.